Indy, Monaco, Le Mans. There are many great races in the world, but for amateur drivers, one race stands above all others. For the past 50 years, the Sports Car Club of America Runoffs has been the pinnacle of amateur motorsports. A single, winner-take-all event that can take a lifetime to win and only split seconds to lose. This is where champions are crowned, where professional careers are launched. This is where greatness is born.
And welcome to the 2013 SCCA Runoffs, the 50th running here at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin at Road America. My name is Jeff Lepper. Randy Pope's in the booth with me. We have John Bizignano. He'll be down on pit lane. We'll hear from him in just a few as we get set to start your national championship race for F production cars, production-based, one of the original classes in the SCCA Runoffs. And Randy, let's tell us what we have here.
We have a Volvo.
Hey, all right, check that out.
There's a P1800. You can see it right there, the number 29 car. Back in the field, that's Robert Keller. He's a local hero from Algonquin, Illinois, not far from Road America. But the production classes are all really hot rods that you buy a street car, stick it in the garage, hop it up, and come race it. And that's what I love about this class. I can get my head around this class. I could build one of these and be reasonably competitive. Unlike a lot of the real race cars, they're just so sophisticated, I'd have to learn to weld, which is actually a dream of mine, frankly, because there's nothing better than welding. But these cars are real cars. That really is a Volvo P1800 there, a BMW 2002 in front of it. Sid Collins from Florida, an old friend of mine in that Porsche 356. But in the front of the field, see, we're single file here right now. This is not the grid you're seeing on your screen. The front of the grid is the newer cars, because like we've mentioned a couple times this weekend, new cars are just way faster than the old cars. Like that Grassroots Motorsports test you mentioned where they compared a new minivan to a good sports car from the 60s, and the minivan blows it into the weeds in every category. Well, that's kind of the same thing that we're seeing here. And we see the Integras in the front row. We see Miatas in the next 5 positions. And then the BMW, the 356. There's a Morgan out there. There's a Lotus 7 out there. They're further back in the field with the other British cars. But they're allowed to modify more. These newer cars have limited prep. They're not allowed to be modified as much. But they're better just from the get-go.
And to get a great look at the differences between these two cars, our man on pit lane, John Bizignano.
Well, there is a great amount of variety down here, and I hesitate to say too much about F production because Randy certainly has a passion for F production that I can't match. But the beautiful thing about this is really the essence of SCCA racing. This is how it started. Production cars that have been modified to go racing. Here you have Mike Carpenter on pole. This car has been sitting in a garage for the last 3 years. I asked him, why did you decide to go F production racing? He said because we had the car sitting in the garage for 3 years. Well, it certainly works. It's still very competitive. Acura, another Acura right behind it. In second place, these cars have a little bit of a power advantage over the rest of the field. And here at Elkhart Lake, of course, that's absolutely paramount. In third position, we have our Vice President of Communications for the Sports Car Club of America, Eric Prill. He thinks that the power of the Acuras are not going to be absolutely lethal here. He's always had a good handling car, and towards the end of the race, especially now that the temperatures are above 65 degrees down here, he thinks that as the race progresses, it might come to him. But again, some more classic cars. You have an old bath car Porsche back there, number 60, still showing that, my gosh, a 50-year-old design can be competitive in F production. And look at this beautiful example of a P18 Volvo. I wonder if this is the same one that's on television nowadays where the guy's driven 3 million miles, but this is just a beautiful example. And again, SCCA club racing where people can come out with just a beautiful looking 2002 BMW. This is the car that actually made BMW in the United States. And looking at this incredibly impeccable machine, I have got to say this is one of the finest examples of any car that we've seen all weekend along. The dashboard is simple, the car is absolutely pristine inside and out, but when it comes to F production, this is a labor of love by the drivers and the mechanics. They have modified these cars. One person told me a hammer and a saw are the two biggest tools when it comes to F production. Well, that says a lot for the creativity that the mechanics and the drivers have put into these cars. They love them, and they love to race them. It's really where the SCCA club racing began. Randy, tell us some more about them.
Well, that BMW of Brent Lazone, he's starting 26th, and it's sponsored by McDonald's and Concours Cars. That's no surprise right there. It is a beautifully prepared car. Sure looks pretty.
Yeah, I think that is probably, like Biz said, one of the best examples of a BMW 2002, both race cars or street cars. It's an absolute beautiful machine. Speaking of the machines on here, we also have that battle now shaping up in F production between the front-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive. Of course, the two Acuras on the pole, front-wheel drive. Back to Eric Prill in third, rear-wheel drive Miata. Advantages or disadvantages this track between a front-wheel drive car and a rear-wheel drive car?
The Acura Integra has probably the biggest and most powerful engine of the front of the grid, but it's a front-wheel drive. It's not the end of the world, but it is hard on its front tires because they're doing most of the work, the braking, the turning, and the acceleration, and they're carrying the load. The Miata, beautifully balanced sports car in the classic mold, and longer runs are going to suit the Miata. The Miata guys want the race to stay green, no yellows. Don't give the front drivers a chance to cool off their tires. On the other hand, the straightaways are long here at Road America. And again, kind of like we saw in the H production class yesterday, that's why some of these newer cars are at the front of the grid. Those long straightaways pay off for the modern technology engines. The newer cars have much more limited prep, though. The older cars, the Triumph Spitfire, the MGB, that BMW, my personal favorite, the Volvo, or my friend Dave Stripmatter's Lancia Scorpion, they have much more free rules for preparation. And so there's this combination that's trying to equalize the performance of the older machines and the newer ones.
I think one of the biggest stories going into this F production race has got to be Steve Sargis, your 2011 and 2012 F production champion. He's not here. He just had a terrible year in the majors, championships, and his divisional. Did not qualify to race here and get the invitation at the runoffs. He used his past champions provisional for his GT Light car that we'll see race tomorrow. He's not in this field, so we're going to have a new champion. Not necessarily a new champion that's never won before, but not a consecutive champion. So there's no chance of anybody making that here in F production.
That's really too bad because he would add another wrinkle to this race. And he's the leader of the old guard. That Triumph Spitfire last year led for a long time. He had a heck of a race with Eric Prill. Eric looking like he was going to win this race last year when he had a brake master cylinder go down on him and the rear brakes only were working and spun him on the way into Canada Corner. It was close for Eric. He says he's come back. He's got a new brake master cylinder, which was in fact the original one that came in that Miata in 1993. And so he's ready to go and try to win this race, but I don't think he's going to lead early. We're going to have to see if the Miatas or maybe some dark horse further back in the field can work their way up into the lead later on. We've got the top 5 cars all qualifying in the 33-second range, 233s. So there's a lot of cars that are competitive and can win this race.
Yeah, it sure is. And talking about some of those cars, let's go ahead and read through the grid that'll start your 2013 50th running of the SCCA runoffs in F production. On the pole, we talked about him at the beginning of the show, Mark Carpenter and his GGS Technical Publications Acura Integra. Starting in second, Kevin Ruck. He is a past champion here in F production. I believe he won that back in 2010 at Road America right here. He will start in second, that Hoosier Honda Performance Development Acura Integra. Eric Prill, the man, that's him, Jesse Prather Motorsports Hoosier Hawk. Works a lot with SCCA here. I don't know what his real official job title is, but Eric is the man when it comes to, I'm just saying that because
Vice President of Marketing.
Vice President of Marketing, and he's, sponsoring. He's writing my check. That's why I say he's the man.
Yeah,
he starts
I love
third.
the guy.
Third place in his Miata. Charlie Campbell on the outside of row number 2, that number 89, Hoosier Jesse Prather Mazda Miata. Ken Kennard, man, he has a motor in that car. Unfortunately, 2 qualifying sessions, one in the dry, one that was quasi-dry. The third session was a dry session, but it was very cold out. Look for that Miata to move up through the front. Bill Hingston starts in 6th out of Aurora, Colorado, the Little Bill Racing Mazda Speed Miata. Sam Henry takes the 7th position, the number 37 Miata Springfield Dyno on that car. Safe Racer Hoosier tire. Rick Harris starts in 8th out of Longmont, Colorado. The other, Jesse Prather Motorsports Hoosier Mazda Miata. Larry Funk takes the 9th place in a Motec HPD Honda CRX SI. And Gerald Lamb out of Oswego, Illinois?
Oswego. And that Larry Funk is someone I used to race showroom stock with back in the early 90s. I wonder if that's that same CRX. 11th, my personal favorite, Dave Strittmatter from Akron, Ohio, and the Lancia Scorpion. Of all cars, the one Herbie fell in love with in the movie Herbie the Love Bug Goes to Monte Carlo. David used to crew for us with TC Klein Racing, and he's starting in 11th spot. In 12th, Scott Lunder from Mentor on the Lake, Ohio, in a Honda Civic Si. 13th, Mason Workman, who I just met. He says he's going to be moving up. He could probably run at least 3 seconds faster than he qualified in that Miata. 14th, Michael Froh from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, in a Mazda Miata. 15th, Michael Sturm, the Sturminator from Grafton, Wisconsin. I see the exit on my way to the track every morning. Sturminator design, Hoosier tire, Mazda Miata. A great guy. Chuck Matheson, 16th, in his 247 or 24/7 parts.com. Hoosier tire, Volkswagen Scirocco. Dieter Griesinger, EIE is an E sound. Got it, German. Mako Mold Corporation, Mazda Miata. Back in 18th, John Walker in an MGB, and his probably family member Joe Walker in another favorite, a Lotus Super 7. Family members from Richland, Michigan. And 20th place, Steve Hussey in a Mazda Miata.
21st is Chris Patrick, the Keystone Customs Triumph Spitfire. 22nd, Michael Hart, the Deerfield Engineering Turner 1500. How about that, a Turner in the field. 23rd, very special here, Mark Weber out of St. Louis, Missouri, the Goodyear Redline Mazda Miata, making his 51st and record start in SCCA Runoffs competition. Way to go for Mark Weber.
Wow.
Love that there with that guy. Number 24th, Mike Gant out of Kiel, Wisconsin. Boy, you think he drove his car to the track here, that MG Midget? Neil Frank starts 25th out of Santa Fe, New Mexico, the SantaFePins.com Retro 1951 Mazda Miata. Brent Lozan out of Colorado Springs, Colorado takes 26th in his McDonald's Concourse cars. We talked about it earlier, that BMW 2002. Robert Keller starts in the 27th position, the Swedish car specialties Volvo P1800.
Go Volvo!
There's one for Randy Popes. Number 28, Sid Collins out of Opaka, Florida, in the Troy Sport Porsche 356. Raffer Chambers in Colorado Springs, Hoosier Mazda Speed, do-it-yourself auto-tuning Mazda Miata starts 29th and 30th. Tony Macchi out of Greendale, Wisconsin, the Runaway Meatball Sicilian Takeout Honda CRX.
31st, Jeffrey Norris, Wannabe Racing, Mazda Miata. 32nd, Paul Jensen in a Hoosier Mazda Speed, Mazda Miata. 33rd, from Hesperia, California, Triumph Spitfire, sponsored by FOT and Kaz Kastner. 34th, Richard Foll with Morgan 4/4, the yellow car near the back of the pack. And 35th, Lee Feinagel, Van Buren, Ohio, F&R Imports, Austin Healy Sprite.
We have 6 runoff champions that are racing in this class. Rick Harris won F production in 2008 at Heartland Park, Topeka, Kansas. Jerry Barker, 1980. All the way back to 1980, he is a 2-time champion. He won it in Road Atlanta in 80. Mark Carpenter won the 2009 F Production champion. He's on the pole. Steve Hussey all the way back in 1995. Local San Francisco region guy. He won that at Mid-Ohio in H Production. Chuck Mathis won the 2006 championship in GP, the class we don't have anymore, at Heartland Park as well. And Kevin Ruck, your 2010 FP Production, or F Production champion in 2010. He starts second.
Wow, that's a lot of years there, isn't it? And it turns out that the people who race and love it tend to keep doing it. Like me, like you. I keep seeing the same faces in this paddock year after year, and the same guys on the grid here, especially in these production classes, Formula V, you know, the classic ones, Formula F that have been around forever. This field is really cool with a wide variety of cars and a majority of Miatas.
Kevin Ruck does have that opportunity to be a super sweep winner. I don't think anyone's done it yet. So that is winning the majors, winning your division, winning the runoffs. Man, I tell you what, if he can make that happen here today, that's going to be quite a feat to get.
Got a front-wheel drive Acura Integra on the outside pole for Kevin Ruck. SCCA guy Eric Prill sitting there in the inside of the second row. as they're rolling towards the start.
Coming up that hill nice and slow. I'm not sure if you're going to want to do that in an Acura, really low on torque versus the torquey Miatas. But leading the field will be Carpenter as they come up to this green flag. We're waiting, and there it is. We're underway for your 2013 SCCA Runoffs and F production. And how about Eric Prill looking down to the inside? He's going to try to make it 3 wide. Right behind him, that is Charlie Campbell, in his Miata. Eric Prill down to the inside. Can he get on the inside of Carpenter through turn number 1? He's not. Carpenter shuts the door. It's going to be Carpenter and Eric Prill into second. The battle now for third between Kevin Ruck and Campbell.
Yeah, Ruck gets shuffled to fourth, but he's trying to get it back up into third. The Miata's looking good on the start. Those two Jesse Prather Racing prepared cars got a good jump on the start. That slow start did not work out for Mark Carpenter. Well, it worked for Mark. He's in the lead.
Yeah, it didn't work for Kevin Ruck.
Kevin Ruck.
Yeah, all the way back to fourth as they come down here. This is a downhill into turn number 5. I believe they're reaching the same speeds here in 5 as they are on the backstretch through Thunder Valley. Hard on the brakes here as Kevin Ruck locking the brakes up to the inside, looking in the mirrors. Can he stick it? No, he does not. Boy, that was a little scary there. Great job by Eric Prill looking in his mirrors and seeing that car coming.
We can see that the Acura of Carpenter has a little bit of a power advantage over the two Miatas. He pulled out a gap on the long straight. Now they're in the windy bits coming out of turn 6.
I'm going to told you before, watch the number 51 Miata, Ken Kennard. He does have a great motor in that Miata.
Carpenter holding the lead, but Prill is right with him in this section of the course. Turn 8. See that black sealer, that black pavement? It's got a ton of grip. You can handle really strong, and then when you come off that stuff, woo, the grip goes away and you slide out real quick.
And look at Mark Carpenter already tapping the brake pedal in his Acura Integra. And a little bit loose there for Eric Prill in the carousel. Wow, they're really battling here at the beginning.
Tires are cold.
Carpenter in the first, Eric Prill second, third, Charlie Campbell fourth, Kevin Ruck. And Kevin Ruck up to third, and Charlie Campbell to fourth, and Ken Kennard in fifth.
We're in the windy part of the circuit. From turn 5 to turn 14 is the handling part of the section with a little bit of stuff going through the kink. And then the straightaways up and down going towards turn 3 and back to 5. That's where these Acuras are going to shine. We can see them kind of holding the Miatas up in through all the tighter corners.
Traditionally, do you think a Miata will brake better than the Integra?
I sure do. It's lighter, better balanced. But I expect these Integras to eat up that straightaway. Let's see how it looks.
So still the problem of, with the straightaways, you're not going to be able to outbrake somebody in the Miata unless you're right there behind them. And you do see that gap that Carpenter pulls over there. And here comes Ruck now. Will Eric Prill go on the defense down here in turn number 1? As small as the Miatas are, there probably still is a draft. As look at the Kennard on the back of Ruck now. Ruck on the inside of Eric Prill down into turn number 1. He'll complete that pass well before the turn-in point of turn number 1.
Yeah, it's a top-end advantage for that Ruck Acura, and I think the Carpenter one is it well. And then you've got Spec Miata on steroids right behind them. The next 5 cars are all F production Miatas. Prill looks good in there, man. Low. I like low. That's why I can't stand driving SUVs unless I'm pulling the trailer.
Yeah, get that low center of gravity down here. I mean, guys were counting ounces on these cars to try to make weight. Now it looks like Charlie Campbell, nope, he thought he was getting a run on Eric Prill, was not.
Yeah, they're all spread out, man. You got to line up and catch those Acuras. Of course, we might have some trouble back there. That blue car falling back.
Ken Kennard, we said he had a strong motor, but
he's done.
Yeah, we said it before with Kennard pulling off. It is always great before it blows.
Yeah.
And that car being so fast has had the highest trap speed among production cars in the practice sessions. So you knew he had a great motor.
And we just caught just a glimpse of Dave's trip matter. He's about to pop into the frame. He's leading the second pack. And here's the lead Acuras. That's Mark Carpenter out front, all the way up from Charlotte, North Carolina. They know how to make some fast cars in Charlotte.
Yeah, remember this is a 13-lap race or 40 minutes, whichever comes first. So still a lot of racing to go. These lead Acuras trying to pull away from the Miatas. You said at the beginning of the show, we talked about wearing those front tires out. They do have to be in some sort of conservation mode to save those tires. Miata's probably a little better on the tires as this race wears on. Do you think that's playing into Mark Carpenter's strategy, or is he just going full speed right now?
I think that he's got to take care of his front tires. Look at those Miatas. They get a run through that kink and right up on the tail of the Acuras. The kink is a real handling maneuver in this class because they've got the power to get to the cornering limit. They can't just go through their easy flat. They're on the limit.
Yeah, what needs to happen now is Charlie Campbell needs to get right on the back bumper of Eric Prill, have those two Miatas work together down the straightaway, because you'll see that horsepower advantage here, those Acura Integras up this big hill and down the front stretch into turn number 1.
Team Mazda Motorsports, those 3 Miatas lined up in the draft. Prill is going to be a lot better off when he's got a little bit of a pull off that first Integra. But the Mark Carpenter car, clearly the leader on the straights. He's got the beans today.
Yeah, and the Miata's not losing much ground that lap on the straightaway there, so that's good to see. It should still be a battle going back to 5th. I believe that's Bill Hingston in that 08.
Yeah, there's Bill Hingston. And followed by Sam Henry. Spec Miata on steroids, I'm telling you.
Yeah, Rick Harris up to 4th place, so great run for him. Or 5th, sorry, Rick Harris in that Miata. Got a big, tall roll bar in that. Rick, I have not met him, unfortunately. He must be a really big guy. There it is. There's the wave. You see him. Come on, buddy. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
That's Bill Hinkson. He's saying, come on, just
Stay
stick with me here. Let's catch the lead pack. You don't want to lose the lead pack. Does not matter what position you're in right now. It's early in the race. On the other hand, it could be that Sam Henry thinks that he's holding him up, right? They're like, I need to go first, and we'll both be faster. We'll see. We can see how that plays out as they go through the corners. Look at those Miatas, reeling those Acuras when we get into turn 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 7.
Got a report we have a car, I believe, off driver's left in the kink. Have to pay attention to yellow flags coming up through here, and we do have a car off.
Looks that was a crash.
Right, yeah, it is a crash. You do see some debris
looks like
out
a
on the track.
Scirocco. Sorry, Jeff, might be a VW Scirocco there.
Oh, I hope
somebody
not.
had a big one in the kink.
Chuck Mathis.
Now this long carousel is not a good corner for the front drives. Look at that Miata get right up on the tail of Kevin Ruck because the balanced handling is superior in a long, long sweeper.
Yeah, he really got a good run through there on that back bumper. This is where you have to be very careful there. Watch out for that debris. Waving yellow flags. You see, Eric Prill getting on the brakes there as they got safety trucks onto driver's side, and they're picking up pieces.
Oh boy, that was a big one. Sorry to see that. The kink is a fast corner, and the walls are unrelentingly hard. But on the run to Canada, is that the 8 car?
Yeah, Rick Harris got the pass done on Charlie Campbell.
He almost Charlie tried Campbell to back down.
Put it to Eric Prill as well. I think Eric backed out of the kink there for the safety vehicles, doing what he was supposed to, and that really opened up the gap down into Canada corner from those 2 Acuras and these Mazdas.
That's good sportsmanship, because when there's a waving yellow, that means there's human beings in harm's way. And so it's best to take it a little bit easy. The Acuras have gapped a bit. We're going to see if the Miatas can get back in it. Oh, they better line up, and Campbell's pulling out again.
Yeah,
He's
Campbell
going
wants
back
that
by
4th place position, not what you need if you're racing for Team Mazda here. You got to line those 4 Miatas up and run down these 2 Acuras, make it a front-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive show. And Harris way wide there, and not sure if he has a problem. That does not sound right. Looks like he is out.
A little something kind of coming apart there.
Sure sounded like it was coming apart.
Well, it's a production car. Sometimes there are pieces flapping. It happens. So Harris back in the chase.
Sure if he was missing some shifts there trying to find a gear, but
wow, we're catching MGB already. He must be having trouble. That's got to be John Walker. Could be Gerald Lamb. There's 2 MGBs in the race.
And of course, Joe Walker, the dad, was out qualified by his son, John Walker. John getting 18th, Joe qualifying 19th. But it looks like if that is, in fact, John Walker, that means the dad will get the better of the son in this race.
Oh, boy. Ruck is getting the better of Carpenter right now. These 2 Acuras, nose to tail. Ruck seems to be able to reel Carpenter in a little bit at the end of the straight there. He's good on the brakes.
Yeah, it does kind of seem that Ruck has the car here. He's never lost touch of Carpenter. Maybe a little strategy playing out there where he's going to just maintain that position and fight for it at the end, save some tires.
That is John Walker in that MGB, a good-looking car, but it's off song. Not running well today. He actually qualified a little better than that. The Miatas are spreading out a bit. Eric Prill has definitely asserted himself as the #1 Miata at this point in the race. Reminds me of an old rap song. What a man, what a man. He's not a wham bam, thank you ma'am, he's a Priller. It's right across the front of his helmet. I didn't make this up.
Okay, just want to make sure because
Eric Prill, the Prilla, is right back in the race.
yeah, look at that. Really great braking coming into Canada corner. He's got some straight line speed in that Miata as he closed right up on the back bumper of those two Acuras. Well, not right up on the back bumper, but he did get about 3 or 4 car lengths down that straightaway.
I think it's a result of the kink. I think Prill is fast through the kink, and that allows him to catch the Integras. He's out-handling him there. That's my guess.
Yeah, and if he can
now
do
he's
that
right on
through
the
the
tail.
kink and then get some braking into Canada corner with the superior brakes of the Miata over these Integras, lighter weight, not such a heavy car, and you're not asking the front tires to put the power down, hit the brakes, and turn, and work suspension. But
Team Volvo, let's go. The 29 car, Volvo P1800, running good. He's chasing that BMW. Who thought?
Robert Keller, the number 29 P1800. He only got one qualifying session out of that Volvo, and that was in that final dry third session. Battling here between these 3 guys down to the inside.
Got for that midget.
Oh, watch out for that! As,
you do not want to take a chance with that big Volvo there. This looks like F production 30 years ago.
Yeah,
well,
Mike
except
Nat
for the 2002.
Yeah, Mike Nat. But I tell you what, Mike Nat and that midget will push him right off the track.
Well, it's just a big car. The P1800 is 1800 cc's. That MG midget is about a 1.3, maybe a 1.5, and they're the classic F production style cars. That Concours level BMW, look at that Volvo reeling in on the straight. You can get some power out of a Volvo engine if you prepare it correctly.
Well, you were right there, Randy. It was Chuck Mathis in the kink, got word, and that was that Volkswagen Scirocco, your 2006 GP National Championship here at the Runoffs.
And here's your
winner.
Turner.
And, unfortunately,
that's
he
Michael
is out
Hart
in
in
that
that Turner 1500. Sorry to interrupt. We got 3 Miatas lined up behind that little Turner. Right now, the old school is showing the way. Turner 1500 is a special model of an MG midget with a special body on it. It was super, super light, and the 1500 was the big block version. They actually had a 950 of that also.
There's Mark Webber. We talked about him making his 51st career start. He's leading this pack in his Miata. Now, he's made 51 starts. He hasn't made 51 starts in a Miata.
Look how tiny that Turner looks compared to those Miatas.
It sure is, man. That thing is tiny. Watching the number 48 Miata come through now.
He was ahead of them, and they all went by in turn 5, led by Mark Webber, usually SCCA's #1 photographer guy. I know I see him over in Pirelli World Challenge all the time.
Yeah, Michael Strum in that 48 Miata trying to see if he can put it to Mark Webber.
That's the Sturminator, Mike Sturm. Yeah. Great. Go, Mike.
They are taking Chuck Mathis off the medical just for precautionary measures. He is sitting in the front seat of the medical van, I would tell you that. So
okay,
we
great.
do know that he is okay, but just going to get him checked out. They got that incident cleared through the kink, and we're back underway. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. Carpenter, Ruck, and Prill. About 2 car lengths between these guys.
Prill has really gapped the rest of the Miatas in this field. At the moment, he looks like the only one that can bring a fight to the Acuras in the front.
Yeah, almost to halfway, just came by and completed lap 5, working lap number 6. And Eric Prill, fastest lap last time by at 2:33.517, about 0.2 of a second quicker than these lead pack, and he was about 0.2, actually exactly 0.2 quicker than the leader.
I think that Ruck may be the fastest car on the track right now. I think Carpenter is holding him up a little bit in the corners. You know, I'm not saying that as a bad thing, but that it looks like Ruck is so hard on the bumper of that Carpenter car in the corners that it's hurting his lap times. But Carpenter's so quick down the straights that Ruck hasn't found a clean way to get by and stay by. Meanwhile, here comes Eric Prill right up into the fight. And look, as this race goes on, that Prill Miata is looking stronger.
Yeah, and Carpenter and Ruck, you saw their little brake lights flash on the back of their cars. They're testing their brake pedal pressure. Not sure if that's a sign of things to come, but they're making sure they got pressure before they have to hit the brakes, taking every chance to make sure their cars are absolutely perfect down these braking zones. Now Prill closing in on Ruck. This is where he needs to be, coming through here, down through the carousel and through the kink to get the draft into Canada corner to use his brakes. This is going to happen now if he's going to make it happen.
That tap up of the brakes is normal here for Road America because the drivers use the curbs a lot. By design, you have to go fast. And when you're running over a rumbling curb and it's bouncing the front wheels around, it can knock the brake pads back into the caliper a little bit. So you just tap that pedal lightly and it brings the calipers back up, so when you go to the brake, you get instant response.
And here is Eric Prill on the back of Kevin Ruck. He's right there down into Canada corner. Can he make it happen? He looks to the right, goes back to the left. Dive bombs on the inside. He does not, but he'll stay right on the back bumper. Now Ruck knows he has to get it done. He's going to start pressuring Carpenter. Good stuff here is your top three in F production racing down through. We'll get right back to the action after this. The 2013 SCCA runoffs are brought to you by Mazda. Zoom Zoom.
It's time to face facts. You're a gearhead. You wish the freeway on-ramp was your personal racetrack. Well, buckle up, buddy, because the Sports Car Club of America wants you. With 40,000 members and events across the country, the SCCA has all the excitement you can handle. Dance the blacktop two-step with SCCA Solo. Get down and dirty with SCCA Rallycross. Or go wheel-to-wheel with SCCA Club Racing. Hit the track with the SCCA, where America's best drivers race.
He ignored the naysayers and never compromised. When Thomas Edison threw the switch, it changed everything. Engineering without compromise. This is the Mazda way. And this is the Mazda CX-5. SkyActiv technology makes it lighter yet stronger, earning a top safety pick. And more fuel efficient than any hybrid SUV. This is the uncompromised Mazda CX-5. What do you drive?
And the battle here still in F production at the 2013 50th running of the SCCA runoffs at Road America at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Jeff Lepper, Randy Popes, John Bizignano calling the action here in F production. It is Mark Carpenter leading over Kevin Ruck, Eric Prill in third place, and these guys were nose to tail. We went to the break, a little bit of a gap. I think it was kind of, we're at the halfway point. Let me see what I have. Now I know. Let's battle till the end.
We always see Carpenter with a nice lead at the end of that straightaway coming into turn 5. But, you know, he's no slouch in the corners. Ruck is not on his bumper like he used to be. Prill may now take this opportunity to get by Ruck and go after Carpenter.
Yeah, before they turned underneath the Johnsonville Bridge, you saw Ruck get a little bit loose. Eric Prill now closing in right on the back bumper. We said he's better through the kink. He can get a good run through the kink here and put the battle to Ruck as Carpenter pulling away. Not what Eric Prill wants to see. Coming through the kink here. Can Eric Prill put a move? He's going to look to the right. He'll probably look to the left now to the inside. Kevin Ruck will protect.
Let's see if he goes for it.
Here it is. Better brakes in the Miata. Oh, look at Carpenter locking up. It is Eric Prill into second place now.
Who called that, Jeff?
I think that was a professional race car driver named Randy Popes.
But let's see. Ruck is all over him. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold that position yet.
Yeah, come down. Good stuff here. Now, this is that long front stretch. I'm not sure if Eric Prill's going to have enough gap over Kevin Ruck. Got a little bit loose right to the edge of the pavement there.
Oh,
now
yeah.
It's a horsepower game. We'll have to see Kevin Ruck protection there from Eric Prill. He makes his one move to the right. Not going to let him have the inside of turn number 1. No problem for Kevin Ruck. He'll go to the outside.
Oh, he's going by him, but Prill's going to dive bomb him in 1. Let's see if he can take him. It's too much of a gap.
Too much of a gap there.
Can't
too
make
much
it
motor
work.
in that Acura. Boy, all that work that Eric had to do gave it right back into turn. Well, didn't really give it back. Kevin Ruck had to earn that.
And meanwhile, Carpenter's got a little bit more of a lead. Maybe time to tuck in behind Ruck there and try to get back up to Carpenter. And Carpenter just turned the fastest lap of the race while Prill and Ruck were racing behind him. So I don't think that pass really cost him a lot of time. It's just Carpenter is getting it figured out, and he's going faster and faster. That was a low 33, was on his qualifying time.
Yeah,
in fact, faster.
The fastest lap so far here this weekend in F production was set by Mark Carpenter. He lowered his time by about 0.03 of a second.
Surprising in the race. Part of the reason is the wind direction.
Going back to fourth place,
up the hill.
Charlie Campbell, the number 89 Miata. Bill Hingston is in 5th in his Miata. Interesting stat there from Charlie Campbell. That is SCCA President Tom Campbell. That's his brother, and Tom Campbell actually owns that car. So he's okay, that's right. My Pirelli World Challenge compadre, or pro racing president, Tom Campbell. And boy, to talk about F production, it's turning into Spec SCCA, I think, here. Staff.
Yeah, maybe. He's Charlie Campbell's car owner. We got Sam Henry and Joe Walker back in 6th and 7th. still duking it out in Mazda Miatas.
This is the class you should have raced in. Then we really would have had Spec Pro
Tell you
SCCA.
what, I would have. There's Hingston.
Sam
Henry,
right
the
behind
blue
him.
car behind him. Joe Walker out of the picture right now, and the next car back in line. Joe has come way up in this race.
Yeah, started 19th all the way up to 7th
Oh,
now.
yeah, he's got the Lotus Super 7. We'd like to have a look at that. What do you say, camera guys? Maybe. Oh, I shouldn't even ask, right? But up front, it's Acuras, chased by Miatas. Right here, we're looking at Hingston and Sam Henry and Bill Hingston in that order. Good-looking little Mazda Miatas. It's like you take your spec Miata and you say, I want to go faster. So you're allowed to crank it up a little bit, add a little compression, take some more weight out of it, improve the suspension, and here you've got it.
There's Sid Collins in that Porsche 356, the number 91 of John Walker. Looks like he got back underway pretty good.
It does look like he got it going again. Sid Collins from Florida, old friend of mine, and there's that Lotus Super 7. What a wild car.
Yeah, Joe Walker there.
Isn't that
in the number
crazy?
5 F production. And we said it before, I don't think that's a kit car. That's probably one of the real Lotus 7s.
Tiny
Not a
car,
Caterham.
lightweight, and he's having a great race. He has moved way up. Those 7s are great autocross cars, and in a road race, the aerodynamics are a little funky with those open wheels, but that lightweight makes it unbelievable under braking and in the corners. These are both the Walkers in the field there just for a moment.
Yeah, but
There's our Concours BMW.
Dad's beating the sun now, though.
Oh, is he?
May have outqualified him. Youngster, is that youth and exuberance versus old age and treachery?
Could be. Dad's in the Lotus Super 7 then.
Correct.
Okay, fabulous. And there's that Concours BMW. That's the name of the company that sponsors him, not just the level of preparation.
Yeah, Brent Lozen.
Being chased by that MG. Where's my Volvo?
Mike Nat in the MG.
Where's my Volvo? He's gone. The P1800 was right in there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Randy Popes, not only a professional race car driver, commentator, now a producer here in the F production category. Director, I thought. Sorry, camera director.
And a Volvo racer. I'm sorry to see Bob Keller not up there, unless he passed him and he's way up in front of him. But that BMW is giving a heck of a draft for that little MG midget. It punches a hole. They were so square.
Back up front, it still is. Mark Carpenter in his Acura Integra leading. Kevin Ruck is in second. Eric Prill in third. And getting reports that Mark Carpenter's car is starting to smoke a little bit. Eric Prill still getting through the kink better than this Acura, trying to see if he can make that pass once again down here into Canada Corner. Those two guys are closing in on Carpenter now.
Yeah, they are.
And I got to think that might be some strategy for Prill. He says, well, I'm not going to start pushing the issue here. Let's get caught back up to Carpenter. Then I'll try to battle again. Running out of time, however, less than next time by, there'll be 4 laps left.
That's a long time at Road America because it's a
It is,
long
over
track.
16 miles.
And
Still
these
racing to
drivers
go.
are all turning 33s. But I think that maybe Ruck and Prill are down in the 32s. They seem to be catching him. Could have been a little tire smoke, you know, because I'm not seeing any smoke from Carpenter right now, and he's looking strong. But Ruck and Prill seem to be able to catch him in the brake zones.
Well, front wheel drive, you know, you do lift those rear tires up every once in a while, and if you hit the brakes when you have that rear tire up in the air, you lock it up. Oh, there's some smoke there. That was tire lockup. And
yeah.
You see him tapping the brake pedal as he goes down into these high-speed braking zones. You'll see him hit that brake pedal. You mentioned that brake pad knockback. He's really doing, might be having some brake problems in that Acura.
Ruck is going to be all over him in the brake zone at 5. Prill is right up on the tail, and he was the quickest of the 3 last lap with a 33.0, which also happens to be the fastest lap of the race again for the Prilla in the Miata.
Here's the lap time difference, the gap between these racers on our Mazda leaderboard on the top of your screen, and Eric Prill now closing in on Kevin Ruck. Kevin Ruck closing in on Carpenter. These second and third place cars coming up on the back, and there's that little brake light from Carpenter. I told you he's tapping the brakes coming up into that braking zone. We'll see it again as he enters turn number 7 before he gets to the carousel.
F production, front wheel drive Acura Integras, well balanced, but a little less motor. Mazda Miata chasing them. Those front drivers, you make that rear suspension nice and stiff to try to get it to carry more of a load. You want to force the rear of the car to work. we can see Carpenter's got a decent setup. See the back of his car working through this long carousel? But the Miata is just made for those sweepers. Prill really strong here in the kink. Ruck and Prill still have to get up to Carpenter. He's just fast enough. They can't quite run with him, but they always catch him here.
Yeah, Eric gets a great run out of the kink. He's going to see if he looks to the outside, to the right, back to the inside. Will he make it happen in Canada corner? And there's Carpenter locking that right rear up. Now I did see what tire that was. A little bit too much rear brake bias in his Acura. Once you do flat spot that tire, though, every time it comes back around to that flat spot and you're on the brakes, it's going to keep hitting that spot on the tire.
Although Carpenter gets a good run out of Canada corner, a little bit of tire smoke from the back tires and a front drive under braking. That's kind of normal. It's telling me he's got his bias about right.
Well, you
Ruck's
cannot
with him, though, coming out of the 14.
Yeah, cannot throw a blanket on these top three cars as they come down the straightaway to complete lap number 10 here in our 2013 50th running of the SCCA Runoffs. Lap traffic now for these leaders, the guys that were struggling a little bit. And this should be good to go here. I'm seeing if Ruck got held up. Did Ruck get held up by that lap car? No. Great job by that Miata getting out of the way.
Very sportsmanlike of him. Ruck right on the bumper of Carpenter. Carpenter's got the horsepower. He's the best running car here. Ruck a little better handling overall, but Carpenter is quick where it matters. He's good in Canada, and he's good out of turn 14. He's going to be tough to pass, like you always say, Jeff.
Yeah, catching him and passing him is always two different things, and that's pretty much in any form of motorsports, especially with a lead pack such as this. And the biggest gap we've seen now between our three leaders, and I believe that has to be due to that lap traffic. And this is where Eric should be better, as another slow car right there at the top of that Corvette bridge.
That can be a factor. Always interesting when you catch the back of the pack. They're going a lot slower than the leaders, and they can cost you a lot of time.
That's the number 15 Miata.
45.
Sorry, 45.
Rafer Chambers.
Getting well out of the way there.
Does a nice
Great job there. Here's Eric Prill now looking on the outside of Kevin Ruck. Not going to be able to make that happen, but he is chopping at the bit as they and way wide for Ruck. Eric Prill to the outside. He'll get a good sweep through here. He's going to be stuck on the outside, but that Miata can handle way out there in the marbles, making an outside pass in the carousel. Eric Prill. Wow, what
brave move.
What a move by Eric Prill.
Now he's going to be quick through that kink. He might be able to make this stick if he can get enough of a gap all the way to Canada to hold off Ruck on the straightaway up towards turn 1. Meanwhile, Carpenter is seeing his lead expand.
Yeah, but now Eric Prill is not going to be held up by Ruck any longer. He should be able to pull a big enough gap. And there's Ruck locking that right rear tire up. Not sure how much longer that tire can last. You're going to eventually get to the nylon cord of that car, and it will end up losing its air pressure.
Yep, that is a possible risk. But there's such a light load on the inside rear. Maybe not. Hard to say right now. Prill needs a run on the front straightaway, though. He's got to beat Kevin Ruck to the end of this straightaway, and which is going to be hard to do. But he does have a little draft from another friendly Miata. See him chasing it. He's using that draft.
Yeah, he sure is. He'll pull out here, and he'll go right back to the inside. Not sure if there'll be enough room for Ruck, and he does not protect that inside. Ruck down to the inside, and I think Prill's going to try to do that all over-under, but wow, look at the power difference between that Acura and that Miata.
Yeah, it's a big deal. More tire smoke from the Carpenter Acura out in the lead. Ruck is back in front of the Priller, back in front of Eric Prill. We don't even see Charlie Campbell in fourth or Hingston and Henry. These lead three have really gapped the rest of the field. It's about 11 seconds back to fourth place.
And all that swapping between Kevin Ruck and Eric Prill allowed Carpenter to pull over about a 2.8 second lead now.
And it's getting late in this race. There's not much time left.
Next time by, it will be one lap to go.
Carpenter looking strong at the end of the straightaway going into turn 5. Eric Prill frustrated by his lack of top end. Road America is tough for the Miata.
Yep, that all changes next year at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, however.
That's going to be a different story. Carpenter running good. And the Volvo is still running. Bob Keller in that P1800. He comes into the picture. Hey, get on camera one way or another. That's what I say. It's all about the show.
Well, he certainly did that as the leader, Mark Carpenter, coming through underneath the Johnsonville-Speedville Bridge, entering the carousel. Eric Prill still hot on the tail of Kevin Ruck. Now, Kevin cannot make that pass happen until after the start-finish line, it seems. He's done it twice. So if Eric can get a good run through the kink on that final lap, still try to move up to that second position in F production.
Yeah, we got another one to go after this. Carpenter gets by the Volvo. It may be a factor when Prill and Ruck get there.
Looks like Sam Henry did get around Bill Hingston for that 5th place.
Little smoke coming off that Hingston Miata, the yellow car. He could have some mechanical issues. Something's leaking at the very least, for sure.
Yeah, just a little bit of smoke coming out the back, and it's heavier on the turns, and that did look like it was coming down from the engine as Hingston is on now. Eric Prill putting it to Kevin Ruck, right on his back bumper, down into the braking zone. Miata's better in these nice, long, sweeping corners through 14, but once again, that power down the straightaway as Eric Prill looks out to the outside. Got a great run through 14, but still making it happen. One to go, and he's sticking with them here down the straightaway.
That's amazing. He must have used a couple extra thousand revs. He didn't think the motor would make it.
Yeah, down in the braking zone here. Got him down the straightaway. Man, did he get an exit out of 14.
Yes, he did.
What a great run, and he's going to hold off Ruck here. He should be able to hold off Ruck here, I hope. Coming down into the braking zone. Get a little bit there. Now, can Eric Prill run down Mark Carpenter? The gap was 2 seconds at the line.
Carpenter's got a commanding lead. He's really just got to be reliable and no mistakes. Bring that Acura Integra home to the win. Meanwhile, Prill and Ruck battling for second place on the podium.
Yeah, Eric Prill sticking to the inside down here into turn number 5. Kevin Ruck. Eric Prill a lot better on the brakes here through turn number 5 in that lightweight Miata. He's going to get that position back from Eric Ruck. Boy, they are battling back and forth here for second place, that final podium position. Once again, you never know. If something does happen, this might be your battle for the lead.
These Integras have held up in terms of handling. Ruck is still good in the corners. Prill's a little bit better, but he ought to be in that Mazda Miata. Just surprising that he was able to stay ahead on the straightaways like he could. Ruck's car, maybe it fell off a little bit here right near the end.
Well, with the run that Prill got through there, he probably could have passed a GT1 car down that straightaway.
He's gapping him again. Yeah, I think Ruck's car is a little bit off song on the last lap here.
Yeah, he sure is. Big
Carpenter
gap now.
Looking strong.
Eric Prill opening the gap between himself and third place.
We've just got half a lap.
Just sees Mark Carpenter in his sights, but slowly running out of time and space. But I do see some lap traffic up there. If Mark Carpenter can catch that lap traffic in the wrong area like this now into the braking zone.
BMW 2002, the McDonald's Conqueror car, Brett Luzon. He's looking in his mirrors. He gets
Brett
Carpenter
does a
through
great
clean.
job getting out of the way. Does not want to affect this championship race at all.
Good driving, good sportsmanship. Now comes Prill. Lauzon lets him through cleanly. Nicely done. Prill's out on the back straightaway. Carpenter's leading. Here comes Ruck. He's probably got a little bit of an engine miss. Lost power the last 2 laps.
And it will be Mark Carpenter in that GGS Technical Publications Acura Integra, your 2013 SCCA Runoffs champion, Eric Prill in that Jesse Prather Motorsports Hoosier Hawk Miata in second, and Kevin Ruck in third. The battle is on now for that 5th place.
That's
Bill Hingston has it, and he got it back in front of Sam Henry. We got to let Charlie Campbell know that Charlie Campbell was 4th place in that number 89 F Production Miata. We didn't get a shot of him, and boy, Bill Hingston able to hold on. Smoking out of that back Miata, but he gets 5th.
That car is low, and it worked for him. Bringing home a good race between these Miatas in F Production.
But it is the front-wheel drive Acura Integra of Mark Carpenter, your 2013 F Production National Champion. Second place, Eric Prill, and Kevin Ruck into third place in his Acura. So the Miata split the 2 Acuras in F Production, and Don't think it's going to be the same way when we go back to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca.
It might be a different race on that track.
There's a good look
my
at
friend Dave Stripmatter brings that home-built Lancia Scorpion, totally unique car. He brings it home in 9th place. Great run, David. Michael Sturm in 11th. I'm running through some of my close personal friends here.
Yeah, the Sturminator on
And
the screen
Sid
right
Collins
now, that number
back there.
48 Miata.
Oh, there you go. Mike Sturm had a classic rollover at Road Atlanta where his fire extinguisher went off, and it was quite dramatic.
Yeah.
He's a great guy, a real passionate club racer, loves this sport, and from the local area. Local hero right there, Mike Sturm, across the finish line in 11th place.
Look at, hey, and there's our Morgan there, Richard Foyle, the dermatology specialist, Morgan 4-4. How about a Morgan?
That is a cool car. It's
That
got a
is so
sliding
awesome.
pillar front suspension, and I'm pretty sure a wood frame. It'd be interesting to know if the race car still has the ash in the front suspension components. That's a cool car. Little Morgan, made in England. It's got the same engine as, say, an MGB, one of those British engines. I can't remember exactly which one it is. It might be the MGB engine.
Yeah, just listen to the sound of that. That is just absolutely awesome. Really is. Just talk about history and going back there, and guys making their own history now in F production. Mark Carpenter, great run for him. He
That
was your
Acura Integris, what is that? That's from the late 90s, right? That thing's 15 to 20 years old.
DC2 chassis. I think that was 95 to 99 or 94 to 99 for those cars.
There you go. 20 years old next year.
Mark Carpenter, this will be his second national champion. The first time came in 2009 here in F production.
These guys have respect. I think it's cool that you slow down and you don't pass the leader on the cool-off lap if he's making, any effort. That way the fans all get a look at what the finishing order was, and you respect that. It's like a little pre-victory lap. One of the things I love about the SCCA runoffs is that they do a real live victory lap. It's a great feeling. I got to do it 2 times. You take that flag in your hand, put the crew in the trunk or in the passenger seat, and ride around the track just sort of soaking it all in.
Yeah, I think those are some of the best photos that I ever see in Sports Car Magazine, is that magazine right after the runoffs, that issue that shows those photos of all the family and the crews hanging out those cars. And as a kid growing up, my dad never won a championship. I couldn't wait to be that kid, and he never did it. So thanks,
Well,
Dad.
he's still racing. It ain't
Yeah, he
over
still
yet,
is,
Jeff.
that's for sure. He's still got a chance to do it, as he'll be in STL here tomorrow. Maybe I'll get a chance. I'll have to run downstairs if he makes it.
That would be fabulous. I have a great shot from 92 when we won in the Miata in Showroom Stock C. Crew guys in the trunk, Linda in the passenger seat, waving to the crowd. Great feeling.
That's got to be an awesome feeling.
It's Mark Carpenter's turn this time in F production.
Yeah, it sure is, and we'll get the cars down here, your top 3. We'll get an interview with them.
Front wheel driver, and I'll tell you, those Hondas make great racing engines. They even, the stock ones seem to be able to put out great power with just a little bit of modification. Consistently. And that little Miata, Eric Prill, drove a great race. Got it in second.
And down onto pit lane with John Biziano.
I'm not hearing anything. I can hear myself.
Well, we'll try to get our communications worked out with John down here on pit lane to get an interview with our winner, Mark Carpenter.
Here, I'll do it for him. Well, the GGS Technical Publications Acura Integra was running great all day. I can't say enough about those guys. They worked so hard. And I want to thank SCCA and everybody, really. I just love you all. How's that? Mark, that was for you. You deserve it. And then Eric Prill in second. Kevin Ruck is third.
Well, let's try one more time, see if we can go down to our man on pit lane, John Biziano.
Well, Mark, I think you're probably pretty happy you got this out of the garage, mate.
Yeah, I'd say so. First of all, I got to thank GGS Technical Publications for getting me here. I wouldn't be able to race right now if it wasn't for them, so I'm very thankful to be back in the car. It's been a long time, but my crew did an outstanding job. I wouldn't be here without them, and they gave me a great car today.
The car looked so steady. I mean, you had power certainly down the straightaways, but the car looked like it was set perfectly for the fast bits around here, twisty-turny bits.
Yeah, it came in middle of the race towards the end, but it was a little loose in the beginning. But yeah, the Hoosier tires held up great. I got to thank them for their support. Honda Performance Development again for their support as well.
You were always lifting the inside right corner through the fast bits. Is that a normal thing for you to do, or were you just showing off?
I was not showing off. I think that's a normal thing for front-wheel drive, but yeah, it happens, and we kind of deal with it with this car.
Well, let's get that gold medal on you. Please don't put a dust cover over this car for another couple of years. I'm sure there's a lot of people who would like to have the same sensations you did. Congratulations on a gold. Eric Prill, of course, our boss, Vice President Communications at the Sports Car Club of America, getting a well-deserved silver medal, changing hats. This is the most important part. Big hug and kiss. We won't, well, I'll hug you, but that's about it, buddy. Congratulations on a great run. My gosh, Eric. First of all, tell us about the start. I mean, what power you showed on the start. You know, you must have been perfectly ready to go when that flag dropped and in the right gear.
I think I timed the start right. It's tough to normally get a jump on the pole sitter. He's setting the pace, but I knew there was nothing I could do about it because the Acuras definitely have the legs on us. The Miatas, I think, have the handling. We're pretty equal lap time wise. But then once the race went on, it was a lot of fun. But there was nothing I could do.
Now, when I left the booth, you had the fastest lap in the race, so that's another success this afternoon.
Yeah, I do think, honestly, I had the fastest car, but you got to get around him, and there was no place I was really going to be able to get around Mark. Kevin got a little stuck in the box at one point, and I was able to get around him in the carousel, but then he got me right back. It was fun racing with these guys. It was real good, clean racing. I was waiting for Mark to get a flat because he was locking up, and it seemed like every corner. But congratulations to him, and congratulations to Kevin. It was a ball.
We're not quite done yet because you had an advantage in the twisty turny bits and through Canada Corner and through the kink. You were making up time there.
Yeah, each car has its advantage, and the Acuras have the advantage certainly coming up this hill. And probably at the end of the straightaway, but then we've got the advantage. We're probably got a little better balance going through the kink and through the carousel. So, it was just one of those things. Maybe if we could have qualified up front, it might have been a little different, but I'll take second today. It was a lot of fun.
I think I said this to you last year. All you need is another 20 horsepower.
Well, yeah, sure, but then we'd probably be an E-production.
Congratulations on a great drive.
Thank you.
And a gentleman who certainly was on the front row of the grid and doing extremely well. Kevin was having everything to do, both up front and behind. They were all over you.
Yeah, both sides.
In a situation like that, first of all, did your car go away a little bit there towards the end?
I had transmission problems all week with fourth gear, and then I limited the laps I ran all week. Had I ran another session, I probably wouldn't even be here. Fourth gear for the last 3 laps, took about 3 tries to get it in. Just grind it and try to find it. So.
But brakes and power, you were okay.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the car was phenomenal. I mean, it handled great. It was consistent. Couldn't be happy with how it drove. So I'm happy to be here. It was clean, great racing with Eric and Mark. It was so much fun. Loved it.
I don't think you three even touched each other the entire time, and it was as close as could be.
No, it was awesome.
And on the start, though, you kind of went backwards on the start there.
I did. I got swarmed by some
Swarmed.
at the start, but yeah. But I want to thank my family, my friends, Hoosier Tire, Honda Performance Development for all their help. Couldn't be here without any of them.
Congratulations with that bronze medal. Come back with a 4th gear next year.
I will. Hey, my buddy Bones watching. You got another tranny to build this winter.
All right, Bones. And you better get the gearbox right this time. Okay, back to the booth.
What a great story from our top podium finishers there.
Very interesting how Kevin Ruck, it kind of gives you sort of the grassroots nature of this event. I didn't hear him talking about putting his spare tranny in. He probably doesn't have one. He just made it an endurance event all week to nurse that tranny all the way to the finish, and he got it on the podium. But it's what helped Eric Prill get by him on the last 2 laps.
Well, speaking of Eric Prill, and you saw the action live at SpeedcastTV.com, our GoPro hero move of the race has got to be that outside pass coming through the carousel on Kevin Ruck for 2nd place.
Hard to argue with that.
Man, that was a pass, boy. You just grip down, hold your breath, and turn the wheel and make that pass.
That was well done.
Looking at your top 10 now in F Production. Mark Carpenter, your 2013 F Production National Champion, taking the win. 2nd place, Eric Prill in his Mazda Miata. Kevin Ruck in 3rd in the number 73 Acura Integra. Charlie Campbell in SCCA Pro Racing President Tom Campbell's car finishes in 4th. Bill Hingston, the battle on with Sam Henry. He gets the 5th place. Henry in 6th. Joe Walker finishes in 7th in that was that a
Lotus Super 7.
Gerald Lamb in 8th, David Strittmatter in 9th in that Lancia, and Michael Froh, local, in top 10.
Good job, Dave Strittmatter.
Yeah, Strittmatter for there. And looking some of the action here, you do see Carpenter with this checkered flag. This was the start where Ruck mentioned he got bombarded by those Miatas and just passing back and forth. We saw Harris thought he had a problem there. There's Randy's Volvo. There's the Turner 1500.
Yes.
Here's that battle with the two Acuras. Eric Pearl making the pass on the inside of Kevin Ruck. Coming down the hill here into turn number 1. Up the hill, outside pass. There's your GoPro hero move of the race for Eric Pearl. And that outside pass in the carousel, not many people can make that happen. Well, for Randy Popes, John Bizignano on pit lane, my name is Jeff Leppard. Thank you for joining us for the 2013 50th running of the SCCA Runoffs in F production. The 2013 SCCA Runoffs are brought to you by Mazda. Zoom Zoom.